to turn fourth into third.
Crawford manages to keep himself out of trouble through all that. It is Crawford. There's Hauger out front. They really struggled to build tyre temperature in those early laps and to have done a good job to get it back though.
Yeah, he will keep himself. You've got to keep yourself in contention. Trundling back to the pits. They would both have been dreaming of significant victories. It would have been the
crossing across to the super soft tyre to wait for the potential of a safety car. He will stay on the and it's Victor Martins who gets away better than both of them. Has a little bit of contact with Maloney in the mid-grid, which approach speed is his friend as he tries. There's the issue for Maloney, who just puts that right
close to the top three, wiping each other out, and instead of that, Victor Martins is having a waft, looking for the lead. He's
still under pressure.
And Crawford looking in his mirrors because Ralph Boschung, with all of his experience, Ralph Boschung in the background. Pourchaire, who had that grid drop for impeding, trying to get himself in. Every point is vital. In the background, that looked like Ollie Behrman getting past Enzo Fittipaldi.
Incredible less on the inside, or giving him a bit of space. Here is between the top of the compound and the sidewall, and that will eventually give all the way up before he...
Contending for fifth position. Looks like he might be out of contention. The white Campos of the day. Huge disappointment for Boschung, and he's 102nd start.
Yeah, Boschung parked up on the rear of the pack with the super soft tyres on, so that'll be interesting when we can better of it, actually, in this instance.
Disappointing for the Zane Maloney's chance will come in Formula 2. His pace has shown that so far. Fantastic charge limited, and we have 3 retirements from drivers who at one point all found themselves in the top 5.
Ralph Boschung, let's see what's befallen him. Is he going to hit the wall? Oh, and move that car out of the way, because you're very blind on the way in there. So Boschung...
Castle walls down there, the old city walls, 12th century city walls. It's a wonderful very experienced, but it is dirty and dusty offline at a single-use venue. Only
think it through the way past the castle here in Baku.
Hauger looking to confidence in different machinery that's available if he can improve past Hauger. Hauger, our race leader, was giving us a bit of a briefing before we started today.
And we got the simulator and we're sort of trying to think and obviously work with the team because of that long straight for the safety car restarts. So it's always a bit of a commitment thing with the braking and cool brakes into the first lap. So
now remember the start of this race, how little grip there was. This medium compound tyre moving through the air, cooling at approaching 200 miles an hour, brakes maximum down towards turn 1. It's so easy. It's one of the easiest lock.
Our qualifying session already action filled throughout. They knew they would need safety cars covered. Ralph Boschung, the last driver to cause incident. They've recovered that camp with limited space as well. Track temperature is now at 48 degrees. Air to hammer to take us back to full racing speed when the green flag flies around Baku.
I would expect to see him run all the way through, down through turn 20 before he lets it go.
So waiting, the expectation, cars trying to generate down there.
Victor Martins leaning, listen to him, leaning on the brake pedal to give himself a little bit of front.
Chance for Taruvula, who's trying to fight up to second position. That's laid on the brakes by the P2 man. And no, Pourchaire could not find the momentum. If anything, he's under pressure from 7th.
Turn 2 and 3. Nothing doing there.
And they are all still in the order. 1 lap pace yesterday, but finds himself down to 9th, out of the points, only the top 8 score.
Benavides could well be Benavides, who had an issue in qualifying.
Way through. Hajar, fantastic pace in practice, 2nd fastest, one of many drivers in the half-an-hour qualifying session. We're descending down now to turn 16 with Vesti.
Man in the championship, Frederick Vesti, will be fancying a go down towards turn 1. DR
shortened zone that he will use next lap around, not available this inside.
Important moment in the race for Victor Martins. He's just been cleared of the incident on the turn 3.
Taruvula and Vesti fighting for their place on the podium, and Vesti had, by the way, got it slowed down. It's in the balance for the race win. It's in the balance for the final on the evidence of the early laps so far. That could, though, just be tyre warm-up. Ralph Boschung.
Wide cars have issues, and inevitably you sit there thinking, oh, I'd have been on the podium. Yeah, you can get a lot of kidology can go on sat on the barrier. But 0.4 on our timing screen, away from Victor Martins behind. Expect Martins to get the DRS.
Removed down there. That does not apply to Oliver Behrman, who is to the inside and past the Formula 2 pole for the feature race today, making good headway past Teo Porcher.
He's been Let's see what's going on with Roman Stanek.
Is in the mix as well. Stanek, who was so close. Duan and Nissany. Roy Nissany started 20th on the grid. Terrific. Down in 14th. Now, the final point scorer in 8th.
Puzzling me, though, our championship leader, Yuma Iwasa, falling outside is the orange MP of Jahan Deruvala, who is going to be in
another position as he gets to the braking zone. He's got confidence there. He's got the fast
one, just making sure that he made it absolutely past the Red Bull liveried Crawford.
They're all around the same team debriefs. There's no keeping data from either side of the garage. Engineers and team personnel as well. And Vesti will know that if he can make a move on Deruvala too, he seems to be consistently closer. Middle part of the circuit seems to belong to Hauger.
I think it's down the front straight, now 447 metres after the end of turn 20 in recent times. So all it's done is just make it slightly harder to overtake. You do have a tailwind, difficult for Martins to make the move. So there are two things he has to overcome there in order to make
the lead car this early on. Of course, the longer he sits in the wheel tracks, he is damaging those mediums. He takes his place on the podium. Now, can the second Prema put the move on? He thinks about that dart.
From Deruvala to just give up the apex again. Knew that Behrman, if he got shuffled out by Iwasa, travelling slowly, so that could be the answer to our question about why he wasn't able to make progress.
Melbourne winning the feature race with a Yuma Iwasa. Totally Grand Prix, similar issue. Martins staying with the race leader. He's keeping within that second. And Martins doing that, but within DRS. But they're all going to have to start worrying about this man. If he picks his braking point, he's up to 4th position. This is turning into a charge. 9th on the grid.
They're going to have a pair of Premas to think about. Still got 10 laps to go for them to potentially catch
and they are trying to hunt down these two, who are in a game of cat, not led all the way, and the MP Motorsport team will be aware of what happened in the
programme. It was Victor Martins saying you need to keep some tyres in reserve for if you do for them to come through the second sector, as Iwasa brings in the dams with
so far they manually close the DRS. Won Red Bull to the Formula 3 championship a couple of years ago. That is a championship that he won in his second year. We've had 5 of them. Hauger trying to make it 6.
Almost breaking the DRS there. Having a way out front, the fastest lap of the race last time round. Martins falling slightly into the...
Yuma Iwasa. And there you go.
Lunching.
So technical. Before we got to the end of the session. Closing in, last time around, the top 2 responding to the Premas now been running here since 2016, but that resurfacing can change everything that they've got.
Higher temperature, I think potentially even worse, the bumps taking the energy out of this they have on this tyre from practice, where most teams and drivers did around 17 laps on it for the race. Victor Martins now finds a bit more pace with the fastest lap of the race, so it's punch and counter punch
each other now, because Vesti desperately wants to join the party.
Yeah, I think they saw a gap over the radio from the teams, and hurry up is exactly what they've done with a pair of fastest laps of the race. After that, about the same.
Yeah, Martins has clearly been told, now be told by their teams, you would imagine, you would hope so for the driver's sake in the cockpit, if you victory 12 months ago.
Sometimes that's nice, you're out front, you've got a bit of pressure on, which feels pressurising, a one-on-one out front of the race. Now they've now got a race on from the 2. Behrman now also coming with Vesti, so I suspect the teams have told them.
The end of this one, it was at 11 drivers improving in the top 5 in the top points at the moment, so he is trying to find his way by. Fittipaldi, good 1-lap pace yesterday.
Moving around a little bit on the way into the apex. It's starting to pick up a bit of... Here's a Yuma Iwasa out of the race, unfortunately. And where Teo Porcher to Frederick Vesti just at the moment.
Yeah, Iwasa feature on Grand Prix Sunday. Nice and easy. Into the wall goes the PH as we move into the final stages. Nissany finding the barriers. Car 16 in the wall.
just as they started to deliver fastest lap after fastest lap,
they're still under green flag conditions. Take exactly the live situation of what you're watching. The yellow flag in
the middle sector at the moment. So race direction do have a bit of time to figure it out.
He's getting to the safety car, and that is the reason why Roy Nissany has found the wall. And Nissany has had good points around this venue in the past. Today, not his day.
Yeah, let's see. I think he's getting in a little bit deep. Locked up left front. Inaccurate on the way into turn 15.
Can't believe it, man.
Places from his grid position. Just overcooking it on the exit of the corner.
Trying to, well, obviously another driver in the race still in the shape of need, and who will be doing what in terms of fixing that car. Race teams roll safety car out and parked mid-circuit. There was no miss in that one.
After a lot of the work with the marshals, they've had to shout down there, go and get the track.
Time of the weekend, we say thanks to all the marshals, doing a good job down there and putting themselves
of the drivers up to the brink. But it's not just Formula 2, it's Formula 1 as well.
Completed of the 21. There's also, I can see on the timing layout here, so a decent amount of distance to cover at safety cars.
The team manager at Trident has been talking us through team procedure under a safety car.
And also we try to simulate this one on our simulator, and of course we also train them to change the technique. Start super late also to don't get, you know, the tow.
You can guarantee that is coming the way. Great to get the opinions not only of the drivers this weekend, we've been bringing you some of the team. Another thing when you're in the intensity of race mode.
Yeah, well, they've to a degree done their job at that. The drivers is part of the team manager's role, and making so often, particularly if you have new drivers to a certain type of racing, particularly if you have rookies to the series, unless you've made the mistakes, these teams stay in these series year in, year out. They've seen may well be a safety car restart. Let's avoid that problem before we have it. These teams are excellent at this level of racing.
Okay, fastest driver out there before we had the safety. To Martin's getting the best start of the top three, who found themselves at the second row, making momentary contact with those on the front row. For sure, their section of track, he was a retirement as well. And we also had Iwasa with what appeared to prove at the top five.
So we've got time for 3 more laps at safety car speed if they want to.
It's got a message from race control saying lap cars may now overtake. Got back out there and is he's about 5 laps down, I believe.
Yeah, so need the wheels, I expect. I mean, time in these cars so limited with the limitation on test. Not feeling that car is underneath him. And the bizarre race for Zane Maloney out in, as we have the safety car in this lap.
Been there for ages, but they did it by the book, they did it by procedure. Next time around, as we have another
for tomorrow's race as well, just give him another look and another feel of it. Just drive
up here. Can Martins learn from that one and seize the lead?
The big problem they got now is both very interesting. I think Behrman of this top 4, before we went.
Intriguingly poised at the moment. Okay, it's off to the pits of Mylander, and we are set for finds himself with a huge test now if he's going to take a second victory of the season.
Lights of the leader watching for that throttle application, and you've got to react so.
Sprint day at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Who takes victory in this one? Martins, and it's close there between Behrman. Oh, into the wall, massive crash. Absolutely remarkable stuff. We have gone from Hauger leading, battling against Martins, to Vesti finding themselves in the barrier at turn 1. We're still racing, we're still under green.
They just had no break.
With the lead being contested. And Behrman's got it on the racetrack for the moment.
And deep. They just had absolutely no grip. The gauge of the tyre goes down. The Alpine Academy driver buried in the wall, having climbed over the back.
Druvler is there. That is doing further round the lap as well. Further along, losing it as well. Hauger spinning round, and Martins is parked on.
And it's both. Wow, both Hauger and Martins just cannot make.
I have nowhere to go. I nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, and the car sprung up and over. Porsche road ends.
No front grip, no braking performance. And Hauger, the same. Let's have a look at it from Leclerc's perspective. He's going to be distracted, I think, by all that's going on.
To him. So Hauger into turn one. That is Doohan. Lockramer's able to find a way through. Doohan then, and then rather line compromised. And Behrman has looked terrific at this corner all the way through the race. Great attraction car,
and until they're in the operating window, they have to be like that. For the run through the air, they've cooled right down out of their operational window. It is the most horrible, and the brake pad as well as the tyre, so they heat up even worse. So it's the worst case.
Oliver Behrman made the move. He had seconds left to make.
What's the point? I said, just calm down. Focus on your job.
So this is Behrman's view of the crash. Oliver Behrman at this point touch, and then the C's part in front, the top two find the Tech Pro, then suddenly he's racing, Doohan losing it in the background on the way in. If it had gone red flag, we'd have gone back to when we could
establishment of that order.
Yeah.
But Doohan there has a grab, and you actually loop the car on the brakes with differential in braking performance across
the wall and sending I thought it was going to be slightly more dramatic than this. The actual final lap of the race, all decided a few laps ago to fourth. Fittipaldi completes the top five. Juan Manuel Correa. And Hajar asking for the red flag on the radio. 2 bonus points for pole yesterday. He's hoping, dreaming, daring to think about him.
Because there's a bit of contact down towards turn one from Behrman that puts him on a wider line. And then he, as well as could be expected given the difficult conditions, and found himself underneath another
improvement with so many drivers late on today. 3 of the top 5 finding themselves in multiple champion at Formula 4 level. A 3rd place finisher in Formula is arriving. Across the line we will go then. The clock has run out through the field for Oliver Behrman. And their checkered flag is waving. It's a Michael Schrid to first at the flag for Ollie Behrman, and the team able to directly applaud him.
Yeah, crossing the line in the pit lane because of the debris down at turn one, but it does give the team the 9th at the beginning of that sprint race.
Behrman did the job, took his chance. Let's hear from him.
Come on! What a race! That was amazing! Now we have to...
joy in the voice of Oliver Behrman. I'm not sure some of the...
I know it's a small mistake at the end, but very good points, really good point.
Into turn 4, gave Behrman the run, who appeared to have a bit better warm-up of brakes and tyres. Keeps his nose clean though, and finds himself on the Formula 2 podium.
Wow, he got lucky in the end.
Kind of a little bit like sitting in the casino, isn't it? You've won, sir. Congratulations. Jackpot. We've won the race. About all of those radio messages.
The restart in there, side by side with our race winner into turn 1, with all of the fallout. Driving with a wonky steering wheel after clobbering the wall in qualifying. Today he secured in an epic season already. We have a new winner, and his name.
The 3 championship last year for the Ferrari Academy driver. And,
impressive. That's why he's part of that Ferrari Academy. That is why he is so clear down there as well. That's what it means to win for a Ferrari Academy. They bring